On Black Friday of November 28th, 2008, a 35-year-old employee of Walmart in a store in New York was crushed to death in a crowd of frantic shoppers. And Walmart has not yet paid the $7,000 fine for the negligence to protect their own employees. I will repeat that. Walmart has spent the last 5 years evading a $7,000 fine. Walmart made $466 billion in sales just last year. The amount that they have spent on legal fees to fight the $7,000 fine has now far surpassed the amount of $7,000.
Always low prices. Always.
The real reason that Walmart is combating the $7,000 fine so much is that if they have to pay the $7,000 fine, then that comes with it the implication of responsibility. And it means that they would be forced to take more responsibility for the safety of their employees, especially during special circumstances like Black Friday, where it should be anticipated that crowds could get dangerous. There have been deaths on Black Friday before. This isn't something that is not unheard of. But Walmart is arguing that they could never have predicted the danger of Black Friday, even though Walmart has since taken it upon themselves to avoid further lawsuit by training their employees to do just that, and training them how to handle large crowds of people. So, and the night of the crowd stampede, there was only one guard on duty at the door. Walmart is estimated to have spent about 4,700 hours of legal work fighting off this $7,000 fine. An administrative judge ruled to uphold the fine, but Walmart appealed to the Occupational Safety and Health Review Commission, and they are most famous for taking years to investigate and close a case. So, once again, Walmart could have staved off this measly $7,000 petty fine for years to come. And $7,000 is, in my opinion, a meager price to pay for a man's life.
Isn't it amazing how we kill each other over cheap crap? Like literally
trampling each other to death.
Right. I've seen videos on the crowds on Black Friday, and I've done stories on Black Friday before, and somebody either gets trampled or maced, or something even worse happens. Somebody gets killed by a mob of people going after cheap Chinese shit. It's amazing. Like, I will never go to a Black Friday sale. I don't care if I can get $50 off a big screen TV. I'm not going. I'm not braving that.
Well, there's actually a great 3-part episode of South Park that's out now, and they're already through the 2 parts about Black Friday, and basically people are dying to get like 80% off, and what the store does when people start killing each other is to honor their guards that die. They drop the sales to like 90% off, so more people are like attacking, and like that's just what Walmart reminds me of. They're like, we can't pay the fine because then we might admit it's our fault, but we're still gonna do Black Friday the same as ever. And,
right, and they keep doing it earlier and earlier and earlier. This year, for some reason, they're starting their Black Friday sales at 6 p.m. on Thursday on Thanksgiving.
It's holiday creep, man. It's all about this consumerist, ultra consumerist capitalist mindset that we have here in America. Cheap shit is more important than people. It's more important than spending time with your family. It's more important than anything. Hurry, 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 get to the door, doorbuster sale, come and get this cheap crap. Hurry, 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 or else someone else is going to get it, and you want it, and you know you want it.
Right. Yeah, Jeff, I would 100% agree with that, and I think that there, just like I said before, there's a focus on, and the reason they do all these Black Friday things, and the reason they do it earlier and earlier and earlier, is because it's more money for more shareholders, because their stock price goes up, and it's all these things that kind of leads into short-term investments. How can we make our numbers look good so more people buy our share and all this stuff? But what they're not focused on, and you saw it kind of blow up in their face with the recent please donate to our associates for Thanksgiving. But they're not. They're gonna screw it. They're gonna screw themselves over in the long term, and their business is not going to be around later on. The more and more people wake up. Now, I had to. I worked at a TV station a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, about maybe a decade ago. But whenever Black Friday rolled around, I had to go in there at 4 a.m. in the morning, and we would shoot our morning show. But there was this glorification of Black Friday.
Mhm.
There was like, oh, we're reporting live from the lines at Best Buy, we're reporting this and reporting that. So it was a frenzy that was really whipped up by probably our TV station and other TV stations. You just got more and more people talking about these great deals are great. Here, talk to the manager. So it was basically like an advertisement for the Black Friday day, which I remember thinking like, this isn't real news. This is just a money advertisement thing.
That is such a fascinating insight.
Right.
We don't realize how much media takes a role in this, too.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Well, let me just jump in here really quick though. The one thing I would say is it's not. Yes, I agree it is the media. Yes, I agree it's the shareholders, but it's also the only thing keeping your economy afloat.
That's true.
You don't make anything anymore. It's if you don't buy cheap crap and you don't put cheap crap on your credit cards, you don't have an economy. Like,
but that's not an economy anyway. Like a consumer-based
I totally
economy
agree
is
with
no
you, but
economy
I'm just saying everybody's vested interest right now is that you do say that you do line up at 4 a.m. at Walmart on Black Friday, and that's the concerning thing for it. And that's the Occupy movement in general and what you've seen, and it's happening in Canada and everywhere as well. Is that the more and more that we have other countries making most of our products, and that we do like to sit around and have iPhones and everything else and the technology. I mean, you have this issue, which is that's what's holding the economy up. Like in Canada, even in our country, the average person is in debt $27,000. I mean, it's a higher number, I believe, in your country, and that's the scary thing that no one wants to talk about is that has to exist. Like 9/11 happens, George Bush has to say, yes, be afraid, but please go shopping.
And you're exactly right. And a lot of there's been a shift away from saving the money and investing the money smartly to spending the money stupidly. Again, short-term profits over long-term solutions.
Sure.
That's all it boils down to.
And you've got this credit bubble too that's built up around that.
Right. And you can't run an economy on debt finance consumption. It's going to end up as a disaster.
For sure.
Yes.
But to get back to Black Friday, the first people I want to blame is the people who line up and trample people to get that those 10 TVs that are like $50 or whatever. So I blame the people first off. Then the stores, after it happens more than once, like you should start to see a pattern. Like you got to blame the stores, and this story happened in 2008. Like I knew not to fuck with Black Friday when I was like 14. Like it's a disaster. Just don't. Like I wouldn't do it. Like I hear ads on the radio when I'm driving from stores that say we don't open for Black Friday because we don't want to mess around with that. And that's the kind of store I want to go to. One that will give its employees the day off on Thanksgiving and won't have a crazy build up line outside of the store. Like I don't go shopping on Black Friday. You're crazy. Like no TV, no printer, no computer is worth my life. And it's definitely not worth the life of the person that you're gonna step on. Like the consumers are they need to be held accountable for acting like animals. Like keep it real. It's not just Walmart.
Well, it's Neanderthalic behavior. I mean, it's going back to your basis animal, self. It's actually, that's insulting the animals. I mean, animals don't rip each other apart for plastic crap. It's absolute insanity. It's greed gone to the extreme. You spend the whole day before supposedly giving thanks for what you already have, and then the next day you go out and buy a bunch of cheap crap and hit people and trample people, other people that other people love, just so you can get this cheap piece of crap that nobody needs.
not even the next day. You get up from the table and then you go to line up outside of the store. Like, it's literally
Apparently
that
now,
insane.
because
And-
apparently Black Friday doesn't even have to be on Friday anymore.
And think of the workers that also have to, they could be missing out on Thanksgiving dinner because they got to go to work. And
They gotta
Right.
go.
they got to control these crowds of people. So
And,
you got that to look at too.
And in the vein of what Sean just said, we should keep it real. We shouldn't blame only Walmart. That's kind of true. I do blame Walmart only because they make so much grotesque profits, but they do not turn around and pay their workers. If Costco wanted to have a Black Friday sale and they wanted to line up all their workers and it was a big event, well, okay, it is the first day of the shopping season. That makes somewhat sense, right? I don't think it should be glorified as much as it is necessarily, but okay. But I think my biggest deal with Walmart, and I think what everybody's deal is just come on, dude. Like, even if you're going to pay the guys minimum wage, at least give them the chance to sign up for health benefits so when they do get trampled, they can go to the emergency room and not have to become bankrupt as a result. I think, and I'm probably going to get flack for saying this, I really wish, I'm hoping one day that either the workers wake up or the consumers wake up and we do. It's hard for me to say this. I expect people to steal from Walmart because that's what they're doing to you. And maybe two rights don't make a wrong, and I understand that. But that's really the only logical conclusion that comes in my mind. Well, if they're stealing from me, well, then I'm going to have to be a big dummy not to turn around and steal everything from them, especially the workforce. So, anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Also, let's be honest, though, you're being kind of, well, I'm not sure if you are being serious or somewhat satirical, but I'll take the satire element of it because that's what I do. And, you're not very far away from looting from Black Friday. Like, from a visual standpoint alone, the images are fairly similar.
Right.
Watching people
and that's kind of my point, exactly.
Right. Can we just get 1 second, though, just for Walmart, though? I do blame Walmart. Like, this isn't the Who in Cincinnati in 1970, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, this is something you could easily do by organization and not, all right, on the count of 5 we're opening the doors, best of luck to you all, like it's the Hunger Games.
No, they have fault. I'm just saying that the consumers have fault. Like, they have fault because we've known for decades that Black Friday is, or not decades, for at least 10 years,
right,
that Black Friday is a terrible, terrible idea. So I wouldn't open the store if people were lining up like that. I would just be like, fuck you, I'm closing up, come back tomorrow. And
you know what? Some people like the adventure of it, right? Some people like the thrill of, being around a big crowd of people. Some people like the thrill of getting the deal.
It's an extreme sport now?
It is an extreme
ESPN
sport. That's
3?
exactly right.
Okay.
Extreme shopping, Walmart edition.
Pretty pathetic, isn't it?
Right.
ESPN 8, the Ocho.
Can we bring up one thing, though, that I think might actually help these situations? It was kind of staggering to read this, and one thing that I took away that was kind of surprising to me, and this is a common theme in a lot of corporate problems that we have in modern times, which is the penalties just are not stiff enough. Like, it is a slap on the wrist. Why is a fine for somebody's dying the maximum you can levy $7,000?
I can tell you because we're a corporate.
But that's
we're
insane.
owned by corporations right now.
Right.
Legal process.
But that's something you could legitimately do through the system. If Walmart wants to be crazy and reckless, and people want to be stupid and reckless, you could at least up the ante. Like, here in Ontario, I looked up the numbers that we can our what we call the Occupational Health and Safety Act can fine up to $25,000 to an individual person, and they can end up 12 years in prison, and a fine up to $500,000 for a corporation. Those are more like sane numbers, and even that on a Walmart probably wouldn't make them think too much.
Well, probably no. It'd be pocket change, dude.
But
look at this.
$7,000.
But the fine isn't really that important because the fine goes to the government. Like, the damages from a wrongful death lawsuit are what's important. Like, I don't care how much the government gets from this guy.
They do, though. They do. That's why they're still fighting it.
But they're fighting $7,000. They're fighting it so they don't have to admit fault, so that they won't be more vulnerable in a lawsuit. Like, it's two different things. Like,
no, because they're attached to one another. They don't want fault. and it's only $7,000.
But I want the guy's family to be compensated like more. Like I don't care about how much the government gets out of it. The fine doesn't go to him, is what I'm
but
saying.
the fine punishes Walmart, who is responsible for his death.
Right.
But
But so would a wrongful death suit.
But so would both.
But you're also looking at
Right.
only $7,000 fine, right? But Walmart made $17 billion in profits just last year.
Yeah, but $7,000 is what they pay an employee over 2 years.
Which is also a problem.
That's really
Right.
sad because to go on that line of thinking, nearly 1 million Walmart workers make less than $25,000 a year. And that's a sad fact.
Right.
It's a
And-
pathetic fact. It needs to be changed immediately. If you expect these guys to stay out there doing crowd control, you gotta pay them better. You gotta put pensions in place. You gotta give them health insurance. You have to take care of their families. You have to do this. And don't give me that crap like you can't. Well, you just can't do it. We don't have the profit margin. You just said yourself, $17 billion. Do you people understand how much astronomical amounts of money that is?
Well, it's $466 billion in sales too.
I'm sorry.
Right.
That's sales.
Well, $466 billion in sales.
In sales.
Michael Duke's compensation is $17.6 million.
Right.
And do you know how many Walmart employees it takes just to equal that? Equal his compensation?
All of them.
796.
Wow.
So there's a ratio of 796 to 1.
Yeah.
That's
That-
insane.
And they can't afford a $7,000 fine. Well, of course, it also involves, if we do pay the fine,
Then we admit fault.
trouble, and then we admit that it's our fault, and then maybe we open ourselves up to.
Well, then that's fine. But whenever your workers start stealing the merchandise off your shelves and rioting in your stores, don't be all surprised. Don't go, oh well, man, I didn't see this one coming at all. Where did this happen? So
Don't
that's
steal,
the
kid.
bottom line. You got to be smart.
Yeah.
To these business people and stuff like that, you got to be smarter than this.
Don't-
You have to put the money down. You have
don't-
to.
Don't steal from Walmart, especially if you're an employee. We did a story a while back about them taking a woman eating a cookie, and they charged her with a felony for basically embezzlement because she was in a trusted position. So
Right, and remember, there was that also that story about the people where the EBT cards were actually loaded with unlimited amounts of money.
Oh yeah,
And-
that's in
and
my
that
state.
Did a massive shopping spree at Walmart, and look, I think that that's wrong as well because that is theft, and that's just wrong to do. So,
But Walmart, I got news for you. When somebody's buying $3,000 worth of stuff with an EBT card, you might kind of want to give that a little red flag.
yeah,
So,
it was when one of the computers failed
Right.
at Snap, which
Right.
basically removed everybody's limit, and once they found out about it, they all swarmed the Walmart.
Well,
And I
and
think
that-
that's wrong. That's theft.
Yeah, and I agree with you guys 100%. But again, that goes exactly to my point. Whenever these things start whenever these things start happening, whenever the people are like, oh, I got $3,000 on my EBT card, let's just go nuts. Well, there's a sort of reason for that. It's not just automatic greed. Something just clicks off in their head. They know, they see and they feel it, like how much they're being screwed over by the system that we have in place. So whenever the part arises where, hey, I can get mines too, well then you can't really blame the people. And I understand that it's wrong and it's theft and all that stuff.
Especially
But it
if
goes
they're
to the-
hungry, though. Especially
Exactly,
if they don't
exactly.
have any food in the house.
Exactly.
No,
And-
but
and-
they're like, keep it real. Like, to me, if I was the governor of Louisiana, and I know we're getting way off topic, if I was the governor of Louisiana, for the people who were supposed to get like $250 and they spent like $300, I'm gonna let them slide. But the people who knew, like, that's an oversight. It's whatever. You made a mistake as the government, you let that slide. But like, to the people who are spending like thousands of dollars, like, they weren't that hungry. Like, they're not like there's a limit. There's bounds of reason.
Yeah, and to your point, Sean, why didn't the red flags go off? The cashiers or the store manager
Well,
at the
they
time,
knew.
like,
Oh, they
No,
knew.
they don't care.
okay,
Yeah,
so
the cashiers, they knew. Everybody knew.
but
they
I
let it
think
go
what the governor
anyway.
what the governor of Louisiana is doing, I don't really know too much like up to this point, but last time I heard they were gonna prosecute the people at fault.
And ban them from the program.
But we really,
kind of dangerous way of thinking, in my opinion.
Well,
you
Well,
really.
there has to be something though to stop the fraud. But go ahead, Dan.
I was gonna say the one thing that, getting back to the original point though, and why I'm pushing for a higher fine, $7,000 if one of your employees dies, is just on the other side of that, they're getting to be a scary kind of company in terms of the way that they are lobbying and the way so in 2012 you had 6 out of 14 Walmart's direct lobbyists had worked in Congress. They have about 79 lobbyists. 64 of them are revolving door lobbyists. They spent about $8.6 million on lobbying in 2012, and then also in your last election they had $9.5 million spent on presidential and congressional on candidates in those races. That's on top of that when cities like in Washington or whatever, like municipalities, I mean, buying off a city councilor is also quite easy nowadays too. So
Yes.
I mean, that is a concern, I think, of NRA type levels now, where it's starting to get a little bit lopsided, and so.
Well, a little bit lopsided. That's exactly what I was talking about. Where you're screwing these people over not once, right? Not just your employees at Walmart, so you're not getting paid enough. Okay, well, I mean, if you want to get a better job, then go get a better job. I understand that. But then you're screwing them over a second time by going and using the profits that you should be giving back to your workers to buy off their representatives, the people who are supposed to represent the people that now you're going to buy them off. Then you're screwing them a third time by taking away all their subsidies, all their safety nets, and shifting all that money towards them. Well, there comes a time where something's got to give. When the poor become hungry enough, they will eat the rich. And I'm not calling for that necessarily. I'm just giving a fair warning, a very fair warning to the people. If corporate leaders are listening to me, CEOs are listening to me, shareholders are listening to me, and I know they always listen to Jeff's show because it's so amazing. But that's
my hour.
But that's my grand point. Stop screwing these people over 3, 4, and 5 times. You won't necessarily have these huge backlashes that you have to deal with later on in life.
And when we do Walmart stories, it always comes down to this disagreement between me and Jeff and Reed. Is that they want the minimum wage raised, and I think that the Walmart employees themselves have to strike and get their own wage raised. Like they
are
should
striking.
unionize. I know, but
right,
I think it's more of, I think that if you need to get your wage raised and not everybody else. I don't believe in the minimum wage like going up, but I do believe that if these guys want their wages to go up, then they have every right to strike for it, and that's what I would do if I worked at Walmart.
Can I ask you a question, Sean? If you don't think that the minimum wage should go up, do you think there should be a cap on corporate profits?
No.
Okay, so you just so you just like think that, and that's fair. Hey, I mean that's cool. So you should, the corporate business structure should be able to pay their employees anything they want. What about whenever those employees need the extra benefits because the health insurance or the food subsidies or anything like that is not going to them? What do those people do? I mean, do they strike? Do they? I
think they should strike. I think it's ridiculous that the National Labor Relations Board says that they can't strike because they're not already in a union. Like, I think that they should strike. But I work at a local pizza place, or I used to work at a local pizza place. And to me, like, Pizza Hut workers striking to get their own wage raised, like, doesn't affect the smaller pizza place that's competing with them that I work at. And, like, raising the minimum wage, like, that benefits larger companies because they can better apportion the costs as opposed to a small business. So if I'm not willing, it's just that I think that you should strike for your own wage. And there's a million Walmart employees that are needed at the Walmart. Like, they can, if they all struck at the same time, they would be able to get a higher wage.
But they can't afford to strike.
I think to Jeff's point, I think what Jeff wanted to, and I could maybe let Jeff talk by himself, but I think what he was talking about was that when they try to strike, there's so many fear tactics that's used. There's so much like just loathsome.
There's actually a lot of intimidation.
And
around
And
you
while
know,
you're striking, you're not getting paid, so you're not getting money for rent, you're not getting money for
Right.
Worth
food.
the
There are
risk.
practical issues behind this. No, it's not worth the risk, not when you have children.
No.
But then I mean, like I said, if it's not worth the risk, then like why
In a way, it
do
is
you want
worth
a higher
That's
wage?
what the
It's
government
way
is
too
for.
much of a
That's
risk.
what the government
Did
is
you
for.
say
The
if it's
government
not
is
worth
here
the
to govern.
risk?
Like if it's not worth the risk, why you complain? Like if you're not willing to do something about it, then I don't know why you're gonna complain about it. Like to me, I would if
That works for slave labor too, though, kind of, right? Like, well, if you're not willing to fight
no,
back,
well, I mean
tough
that's
luck.
that Walmart is voluntary. People choose to go to work at Walmart. You're not being
Yeah.
forced to work there.
What purpose is there for a government if it is not to see to the welfare of its people and make sure that they have fair wages with fair pensions and fair regulations that keep them safe and keep them in a living wage? That is what government is supposed to do. That is what government is for, to regulate.
Agree
And
to
make sure corporations do not take advantage of people.
To me, the purpose of government is to protect the freedom of the individual. That's basically it.
But one of the things I want to touch on, one of the points you brought up before to defend this, which I don't think exists anymore in the modern age, which is the idea is that if Pizza Hut employees unionize, or if Walmart, then the guy down the street's screwed because he's got to pay his employees.
They're not screwed. They're not screwed. Like if I work at
I'm saying if a higher minimum wage for the government, you're saying that it affects smaller businesses, and that's the problem, correct?
Of course it does.
But then who's shopping at smaller businesses? That's how Walmart's been able to like become Walmart, because they can offer us cheap crap that we can run and kill people for in a store.
Well, I don't.
Studies have been shown over and over again that when you raise minimum wage, you're actually giving more money to the hands of people who are then reinvested into small business, and also the majority of small businesses pay more than minimum wage already anyway.
Right.
Boom. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Please leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and share with your friends. If you want to see more, go to our channel at youtube.com/TYTNation. And if you really want to support the show, support this channel, go to our fundraising campaign at www.patreon.com/TYTNation. The website is in the description below. Thank you guys, and keep watching.